I'm handing Claude the keys to a real browser using Playwright, and we are going to scrape data, automate a logged-in app, and walk through the 5 anti-bot layers. All in plain English, no technical background required. By the end of this video, you'll know how to automate browser actions even if this is your very first time. Let's build the first use case. Here is the context. We want to compare prices of a few items, so we'll go to each and every website, fetch the product link and the price, and store it into a spreadsheet. I was talking to a few construction firms last month, and I found out they usually work with a handful of suppliers, but they don't have any manpower to compare prices for each and every item. Basically, this is money left on the table. Luckily for us, this is a problem that Playwright and Claude Code can solve easily. I'm opening Claude Code in Visual Studio, and I'm gonna ask it to scrape my websites and fetch the prices for some items using the most token efficient method, which is Playwright CLI, command line interface. This saves tokens and keeps our context lean. So I'm just gonna ask it, please write a Playwright CLI that scrape these prices. Go ahead and use the 3 suppliers and search for these items. Some bag of concrete, a gallon of white interior latex paint, and some plywood. This is all inspired by the conversation I had with the construction company the other month. And please go ahead and save the prices as CSV. And as you can see in the left hand side, I'm starting from scratch. This is just an empty folder, so you can follow along. Just create a new folder, open Claude in that folder, and send it the prompt. The idea is that in the end, we want these columns: item, site, product name, size, price, and a link inside a CSV so that we can compare which supplier has the cheapest price. Okay, for now, already we can see that Claude identifies that some of these websites have some anti-bot protection. We have basically 2 types of websites. The ones that have basic bot protection. For these ones, Claude can automate them in under 30 minutes with no paid and third-party tools. But for the more advanced ones, as I can show you, so for the most advanced ones, basically it will be step 3, 4, and 5. These ones either take more than 30 minutes to implement or actually need some paid third-party tool. But the focus for today, our demo, will cover only the websites that can be automated natively by Claude Code, and the automation takes under 30 minutes. So basically we will cover layer 1 and 2. I will go ahead and approve it, and I can already see that the empty folder was already populated with all the scripts needed. And the plan is that it will do an end-to-end test inside this smoke CSV. So this CSV was created for the very first test that Claude will do. I will approve the bash command. Here we can see a new concept. So every time we deal with browser automation, we have 2 ways of doing it. We have headless, meaning the actions in the browser happen but in the background, meaning the user will not see the browser itself. This is headless. This is way faster as opposed to headed, which means Claude actually starts a browser and we can actually see when it clicks, when it types, when it selects drop-downs. So for the very first example, we will go with headless. Alright, the first CSV, it is created, but for now, no specification was fetched for either of the product. We just have the table headers. And we can already see that one of the websites has more advanced bot detection. One of the items was already fetched, and we can see it has a parser issue. So one of the prices, if it has cents, for now it's fetched incorrectly. But the great news is that even before Claude says, hey, I have your first version of your scraper, it's able to auto fix, right? So for example, this pricing parser issue with the cents, even before it tells us I have a first version, it's capable of fixing itself. So let's see how it fixes it. It says, hey, it was fetched at, I don't know, 9 million bucks, and in reality, it should have been rounded up to 10 bucks, something like this. We have a first scraper that works for the website called Ace Hardware. It is fully working, so it's able to grab the prices, the product URL, and it's ready to populate the CSV. So one of the selected websites had the basic anti-bot protection, and it was easy to scrape. And we can see a summary. Yeah? So Ace Hardware was already executed in Headless, meaning the background was started without us seeing it, right? And for the other two websites, we had more advanced anti-bot protection, and it needs more work. But just for this moment, let's open the CSV. So I will ask it, please do another execution in both modes so I can understand the difference, right? So please run it in headless and create a CSV called headless, and then run it in headed so I can see the browser myself and create a CSV called headed. So let's see it in action. I can see it used the Chrome. The website was added in the URL bar. I also get two macOS notifications for this automation. Let's put it side by side to see the logs in the left-hand side that say, hey, this is the headed run that you are seeing right now. And it should mimic the human behavior. I'm expecting it to go ahead in the search bar and actually type for the product name and fetch all the information. It searched for concrete mix. It's able to scroll, navigate the entire page. Now it's looking for latex paint. The same, it's scrolling and fetching the product. And now goes to the second website. And it says, hey, IP cooled. So this website wasn't a success and it needs more work. So depends on the website. Two executions finished, and for each one of them we have one CSV. Let's open it up. First, we have the headed CSV. We can see it's called prices headed, and we can see it has the website that was scraped, acehardware.com, the item name, the official product name. Basically, the item was the actual search term, and the product name was what the website had, together with the price and the URL. Let's check the second one. This one is headless, and it has the same columns: item, site, product name, size, price, and URL. I'm actually gonna test one URL, and the link works just fine. You can expand this logic and fetch hundreds or even thousands of prices if you want, and ask Claude to build you a scalable pipeline. So in case you need to scrape big volumes or with very high frequency, more development will be needed, of course. We now covered how to scrape websites that don't need any authentication. So this was the most, let's say, accessible use case. How about if I want to do some browser actions for a web app that has no API, API being the most common way to programmatically automate some steps, but the app needs me to log in first. So basically, whenever I want to do some action, insert some text, select a drop down, click some button, before I can even do so, I need to authenticate. How can I automate that? Well, let's see the second use case. Second use case will be one app that I use on a daily basis, school.com, and whenever I want to automate something, the login is mandatory, right? So I cannot actually go ahead and in my case, if I want to create a post, unless I'm logged in, I cannot really do it, right? So this is the action that I want to automate. Log into the website with my credentials, make sure the icon appears here, and create a new post. I will do these steps manually. So basically, and clicking the button, right? Together with the category. So this is the flow that I want to automate. Put the link in the browser, log in with my credential, create new post with title, description, category, and click the button post. This is how I tackle it. I will continue in the same manner, meaning I will ask Claude, hey, please build me a Playwright CLI command line interface that will do the following. It handles the authentication for me, goes to my community, and creates a post. And I actually give it the link. And let's see what plan Claude comes up with. It asks me, hey, where do you want to save your credentials, right? Because your credentials will need to be saved somewhere. And we have a version, and it will open Chrome, and let's see if it automated successfully for the very first time. We can see in the top right corner that the login button, it is present, meaning at this moment, it wasn't able to log in yet. So the first successful step was just opening the browser with the correct link, right? And it identified. I cannot find the title of the post. Why? Because I'm not logged in yet, right? Second attempt, still I'm not logged in. And it is actually capable of identifying, are you logged in? No. So we need to tackle the login first. Okay, it concluded that I will need to log in so that it is able to capture my credentials only once. So I will do the login manually. Once I will log in manually, it will capture my credentials and my cookies, and all future runs will be able to fetch them. So basically, I will do the step manually only once, and after this, it will be able to do it for me. So I'll go ahead and log in. The manual login was detected by Claude and the profile information was saved. We can now see that the user icon appears, and let's see. The first attempt to create a new post failed, right? So we have some progress. We now solved the login issue, but the creation of the post needs one more attempt. Okay, let's wait for it to open the browser one more time. Browser was opened, login is successful, we have a new post with title, body, but as we can see, it has some troubles with the drop down and the image kind of moves from top to bottom. This is classic browser automation, so this behavior is totally normal, it is to be expected. What happens in the background is for each and every element, each button, each drop down, each text field, it has to fetch the identifier of that web element, right? So it needs a couple of attempts before it actually gets these identifiers and it is able to interact with them. Okay, so I'm gonna ask it to make a new post. Hey, please use this title. The title will be New Video Playwright for Browser Automation. I will feed it the description as well. And the category can be the first one in the dropdown by default. Let's see. The browser was open, login successful, new post was created with the correct title, description, and category, and the post is now live. This is how it looks like. This is the post. It is now live and everything is working correctly. So we can conclude that we can use browser automation even for the websites that need authentication. This is not an issue. So we successfully scraped information with and without authentication from two types of websites.